Down.
Alexa, you're like
chowing down on food. Survivor specialist Phil and Alexa are back, and today we are joined for what will surely be a G-rated podcast with Julie Rosenberg.
It will be because my kids are in the apartment. So
oh, that's right. Last time you had it to yourself.
Yes, I did. It was late at night, and I was like riled up from after the finale. This is like going to be more low key.
Alexa, what was it that we talked about last time that we bring up all the time? Then?
I don't know if I can say. You just triggered my luck. I'm not sure if that's a procedure. I believe.
Yeah, there was a procedure.
There was an ultrasound involved.
Oh, there was. Yes, there was. There was a lot of talk about below the waist.
Yes, if you have not watched our tell-all with Julie after last season, you are missing out. I don't know what you're doing and how you've been a fan of us and haven't watched that. This will get you hooked, but as she said, her children are home, so she'll be on her best behavior.
And they might make a guest appearance.
Ooh, I've heard that somebody might have their own power rankings. Yes,
so my son is very, very into Survivor and Survivor strategy, and he watches all these videos on YouTube about strategy and, all the past seasons, and he knows way more than I do. Mm-hmm. So he has his own power rankings, and we actually did a draft pick at the beginning of the season, just the two of us. I think it wasn't until like a couple episodes in. We didn't start it right away. And I even have it here, just to let you know how well I'm doing with my draft picks. I have left Janet and Dan.
Ooh.
And yeah. And he has everybody else: Tommy, Elaine, Lauren, Elizabeth, Nora, Dean, Karishma. So that's how my draft pick is going. So at some point you might want to replace me, and my son can just come in here and take over because I think he has a better handle on it than I do.
See, but I like to make it where I'm always the best one on the podcast because my fantasy draft, the fantasy draft that we did with Alexa and Vaughn, Alexa has 2 people left. Vaughn has 2 people left, and I have 5 people left. And the only person who I don't have left is Tom. So I like this. I like that Alexa and you both are down to 2 people. I'm sitting over here. I still have 5/6 of my tribe intact. And maybe me and your son should be doing the specialists.
Yes. He could take over. He could actually replace both of you if you.
It should just be him.
It could just be him. Right. It's a whole new perspective on the game.
I love it.
13-year-old.
There you go. That's at this point, I think we could use a perspective like that so that we can just like talk about Survivor and the fun that is Survivor.
Exactly. Yes. A clean, nice, innocent,
wholesome
take on the game. What's happening and why is there nothing going on in the chat?
You don't have a chat?
Oh, I didn't have it on live comments.
Yeah. The current,
it's not going to be nice.
No, it's just so someone.
What? Someone said take your shirt off.
I'm gonna take my shirt off, but luckily because he was upset with the content of the shirt, Gamer Girl, I wonder if Julie will haunt Phil with her wooden toys. How are Julie? Well, let's talk quickly with you. How have you been since Survivor? How are the wooden toys? How many have you mailed to Phil, etc.?
He knows how many are in his apartment right now, don't you?
Yeah, I have them all lined up on the wall.
You haven't found them yet, hiding?
That's what. Okay.
So they are there. So I'm doing great. Everything's great. Let's see. I talked to you last June, right after the finale, and I feel like life has gotten back to normal. Had a great summer. Now it's the fall. It really feels like actually it's winter now, and everything's good. The Etsy shop is great. People can check it out, except it's kind of on vacation mode right now for Thanksgiving because I have a lot of cooking to do. We're hosting it here, and I'm not a cook, so I really need to like focus and put all my energy into Thanksgiving dinner, and after that, I'll get it back up and running. But no, the toys are good. I don't have any out to scare Phil. I decided to take it easy on him this time.
How did your I appreciate that, but how did your Survivor Specialist line go? I know you were creating Phil and Alexa wooden dolls.
Forgot about that.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still working on them. It's very hard to perfect like the exact details of your faces. So they're still being. Maybe it'll be like a holiday gift like this year.
There you go.
It's still a work in progress.
All right, cool. You have 30 days.
30 days. Wow.
But not really, because I'm not nothing counts until after Thanksgiving. So
exactly.
Okay.
Hosting sounds terrifying. So best of luck for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's not terrifying, but
as
it's just
somebody who goes to Friendsgivings, I go to Friendsgivings and I just bring like a 30 pack of Bud Light and I'm like, I can't cook, so here's my offering to all of you.
Yes. Well, that's what I usually do, but this will be my, first time actually not ordering stuff, but trying to cook it.
Well, I want you to know, and we'll just name drop our Patreon right now off the bat here. We did our Thanksgiving feast podcast today for our $10 patrons, where we had put together everybody. And I want you to know, Julie, you made my Thanksgiving feast.
Why?
Well, you were one of the women that I chose out of the 10. And the main reason was because of your tell-all. I was like, you know what? If that's going to be Julie coming out, and this is going to be the Julie that's going to be at Thanksgiving dinner, like really going all in, this is what I want. So you made my table.
Okay, that's very nice. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So anybody wants to listen to that, go to patreon.com/Survivor Specialist and listen to me talk all about Julie Rosenberg. And that's where we talked about the R-rated
That's the only person you need to talk about in all of Survivor.
Alexa didn't pick you.
I did.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, you might not be getting that gift.
If you're trying to decide who's to make first.
2 wooden toys, which is even better.
What? I can't hear you.
2 gifts, and that's even better.
I still can't hear you. What's happening?
Let me adjust my.
Oh no! Now I can. No, I hear you.
All right.
Now she's already into it.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Thank you.
Oh, that was louder.
Well, Julie, what are you thinking so far of this is your first season watching since you played?
Yes.
And this is the first season to air since you played, which makes sense, right? What are you thinking of this season so far?
So I really actually I liked the season. I mean, I was liking the season a lot. Obviously things took a turn that probably people weren't expecting. But in the beginning of the season, I found it very entertaining. I really liked all of the cast. I think that they are here to play and they're playing hard, and they're really good competitors. And then we also have really great characters too. And like, that's what makes like an entertaining Survivor season, I think. And I guess my thoughts are, I mean, the theme is the theme. Like, it seems to be that there's always a theme. I'm not so crazy about these island themes, obviously, like with the outcome of my season. But I feel like it's gimmicky, but I kind of understand why Survivor does it. I think they feel the need to mix it up because it's basically the same show for 20 years now. And I know everybody's complaining, get back to the basics and get rid of all the gimmicks. But if it had been going like as is for 20 years, would people still be watching it? I don't know. Like, I think there does have to be some things to mix it up a little bit, especially now that it's always even filmed in the same location. Mm-hmm. So the theme, I could take it or leave it. It's funny. I actually last month in October, I did another podcast where I spoke about, I wasn't like a fan of the flashbacks because they were taking up a lot of airtime from previous seasons. And then, of course, the next week I was in the flashback where Chris hands me the necklace. And I was like, oh, guys! I called my kids were there, but I was like, I called the dogs in. I was like, everybody, I was like, I'm on the screen again. And then I was like, oh, flashbacks aren't so bad now. So, but all in all, I do like the season. I know that there's a lot of controversy going on and a lot of deep stuff. And I'm not any expert or specialist to really speak on that. And who like, we're all just watching it. We're watching an edit of everything. And, it definitely took a turn, but I'm still a fan of the season. There's still people that I'm rooting for that I like watching. I find them entertaining. I think, I like it.
Yeah, and with the exit press that's coming out now, I'm not going to make any conclusions until the season has concluded, because with the exit press that came out from Aaron and Missy, I'm like, what's going on? It's just, it's so weird. And I don't want to be sitting here saying like, I mean, we were sort of hard on Aaron and Missy, but I honestly don't think we were hard on Aaron and Missy compared to how a lot of people were. And we tried to keep it that way because I don't know what's going on. And then we see this exit press where Aaron says like,
I'm not sure they knew what was going on. That's the thing.
I think they're almost, I don't want to use the word blameless, but I feel like they almost are, because they just had absolutely no idea what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they realized, no one I think realized the seriousness of it or how it was going to be portrayed or viewed on TV, or even like everyone. I mean, that's any Survivor. Even in my season, we didn't have any controversy, but you never know 100% what's going on unless you're in on every conversation. And then even then you're still wondering who's telling the truth and what's gameplay. And, it's too hard. It's so complicated that to blame people for what we're watching now as an edited view of everything. It's probably, not right.
Yeah. I agree. And so again, I'll just wait until December 18th, I believe is the finale. I'll wait till December 19th and then I'll start throwing my hate at everybody. Because that's what we do here. We just hate everybody.
No, yeah. You guys are nice. You don't hate everybody. No.
That's why Julie's back for a second time.
Right.
This is going to be great. You're the third person
and
we've
I'm
had
at your Thanksgiving dinner.
And you're at my Thanksgiving dinner.
Who else have you had?
We had Rick and Lauren both do this season so far.
Oh, when did Rick do it? Early on?
He did the first one.
The first one.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so he got it easy because he got to just be like, "Oh yeah, it's great. Everybody's so nice, lovely. I love them." Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And then Brett LaBelle last week.
Oh yes.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Well, he has his opinions. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what else?
So we're gonna do power rankings, and Julie, we're gonna see how good you are at this. I believe who was Lauren's winner pick, Alexa? Because Lauren was very adamant about who her winner pick was going to be.
I don't know, but I just remember Lauren was convinced that Nora was safe, which she is.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
No, she said Kelly was going to win, and then she texted us right after and was like, "There goes my winner pick."
Oh, yeah, okay. I actually had Kelly high for a long time. I think we all did. Usually, I guess we should have known. Sometimes, based on the edit, when things are looking too good for somebody, it never stays like that.
No.
So I have somebody in the other room that's peeking in that was wondering if he could join us for the power rankings or predictions or whatever you guys call them, because he has his own opinions of who's safe and who's not next week.
I love it.
And this is not a past Survivor.
It's
Jake,
War Dog.
would you like to come in? Yeah, but I do have a dog. Wait, come here, honey.
Oh yeah, bring the dog too. Everyone come
Jake.
I like the idea, Julie, that you've hidden wooden
you
dolls.
have to slide this way.
So,
Hi, Jake.
Wait, no. Wait, you have to hold them. That's the camera. He brought them. Wait, he can't hear you. I just realized he can't hear you. I have to share. That's the right ear. Oh, this is Honey.
I don't know if he's allowed to be on here now, Julie, since he brought the wooden dolls out. I was all about this.
Tell me when you can hear him.
Oh my God.
That's Honey.
I'm
Hi,
trying
honey.
to teach. You said I watched Julie's tell-all and I
No, you didn't see all my tell-all. No,
I didn't see all of it.
No, you didn't.
I watched some of it,
No, you didn't.
and I saw that you were terrified about the ones with mouths. So I have ones with mouths.
Oh no, he doesn't. He likes the ones.
The camera.
Wait, you like them with mouths or without mouths? The camera's up here.
Without, he hates them both.
I think they look beautiful.
I hate them both. Yeah. Thanks, though, Julie. Thanks. I thought I was going to get through this without trauma, but I guess not.
Sorry.
That's what we get for being nice.
So, Jake, thank you for coming on. What are you thinking of the season so far?
So I think so far, I think it's been a really good season. I think Island of the Idols maybe has been a little bit too much on the advantages.
I'm gonna eat while he talks.
I would think you might want to tone it down a little bit, which I think they're doing. They might have stopped it at the parts. I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't seen Island of the Idols in 2 weeks now, right?
Or it's Jamal, like they got in a purple edit all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're not really shown so much anymore, but no, they can't get rid of it. I mean, it's like the theme of the whole season with those statues alone of their heads. Like,
yeah.
They're not going to get rid of it, but it is kind of weird.
They built those statues for a reason. They spent money on them.
Yeah.
Where do you think what I want to know is where those statues are right now. Did someone take them home?
Like Easter Island.
Are they in CBS Studios? Are they on Easter Island? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they burn them like a sacrifice.
Symbolic.
Or like
all that hard work and then you just burn them.
Instead of sacrificing people to the gods, you sacrifice the gods themselves.
Ooh,
that's true.
It's a whole new level.
What about all the people who are then going out there for season 40 and rumored obviously to be Rob and Sandra among them? And maybe what if they just left those heads up and then one of the tri-cams is on that island? So like we can really see how production feels about those two players versus everybody else. That could have been like a nice thing too.
Poor Yul Kwan or Ethan Zahn, who haven't played in so long, they're just staring at Boston Rob and Sandra's heads.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be on that season, which is unclear.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't know anything. At this point. Otherwise, everybody's just been dieting very strongly. A lot of Survivor winners on the 2019 diet. Very strange.
Yeah. And a lot of twists, like Edge of Extinction, I have heard is coming back.
Yeah.
Which I always said. Did I even say it on the tell-all with you guys in June that I thought that maybe Edge of Extinction, they were using it as a test on our season for a potential like all returning players season where they want to be able to keep everybody on the screen. Yeah. And I always thought like our season was a practice for it, but I don't know.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that could be, that could very well. I mean, that seems like what they did. If it's coming back for 40, they wanted to make sure it was something that could work and that, you know, somebody could come back and win, which happens. But now we've had those, I'm going to tell my kids memes that have been going around, and we've had like the Gavin picture. Like, I'm going to tell my kids this was the winner of season 40 or 38. And like, we've been doing that a lot.
And then, Gavin and not me. Really, Phil?
Unfortunately, that was the picture I saw.
Meme?
I'll go look. You've been killing it so much on Twitter that we don't need to defend you. Okay. You do it yourself.
Good Twitters, good tweets recently.
But, you know what? I've decided, and I'm not even like reading this side chat because I have no idea if people are saying anything negative over there. So I was going to say, I think I've decided. So I never had Twitter before Survivor, before my season started airing. Like I opened an account in February. And I only used it for Survivor, and I never have used it for anything else because I don't really understand it. And do people really care about my thoughts on random? I don't know. I don't even know what it is. So I was thinking, should I start using Twitter for other purposes besides Survivor? Maybe I could do a Twitter poll with a tweet about. I didn't even used to know that it was called tweets. I thought they were called like chirps, twits. I don't know what they were called. Right. So maybe I'll like dabble in using Twitter for something else other than Survivor. That's my new thought.
I love it.
I spend too much time on Twitter, and it's there. Especially when the Survivor stuff was tough the past 2 weeks, I was turning away from that, and all I saw was politics, which was surprisingly not as upsetting. So it's a little tough, but
it's like reality TV or politics.
That's it.
You should do a poll about what you're going to make at your Thanksgiving dinner.
That's already planned, Alexa. Come on. Have you not
it is Sunday, Alexa.
It's in like 4 days. Like, of course it's planned. I just didn't say I was going to know how to cook it, but it's all planned.
Well, maybe we could do a Twitter. You could do a Twitter poll. Twitter poll. You could do a Twitter poll of who ends up with the best power rankings, and then everybody could say who they agree with out of Alexa, Julie, Jake, and myself.
Okay.
And we're going to start off with number 1 here.
Okay. Here.
And I'm asking Jake first.
This is your list, Jake. Mine's here.
Who's the safest person this coming week? Who's the safest?
I think that it's Nora.
Same.
Oh.
I also have Nora at number 1.
I have Nora at number 2, but not my number 1.
All right. Tell us your thoughts on Nora.
Okay. So, what I think about Nora is, first of all, since Merge, her name has not come up once. She won immunity, so I feel like she could probably win again.
I do think she's a very big competitor in these challenges. She's probably one of the best, is what I'm imagining from here on out. I think she's very strong, so that's why she's my number 2. I mean, I can talk about her with him like as number 1 and 2. I think she's going to be hard to beat at challenges.
I don't think Nora is hurting anyone's game. I don't think her in is managing to damage anyone else.
I'm looking at my notes.
So, like, no one would want. I don't think getting her out is going to be as good as, say, getting someone else out.
I also think that, I mean, to me, she's become a very rootable character, like, or player in the game. I know, there are certain players that are these kooky type characters, and she's just become like more endearing, and I see a lot of fans like kind of getting behind her and rooting for her now. And I think that even like last week, all of a sudden we started seeing some strategic stuff where I maybe I'm wrong, but wasn't she the one that kind of started the idea of getting the vote off of Janet and onto Aaron?
It was all her idea.
Right. Looking at him as a physical threat. And, so all of a sudden I feel like there is more positive stuff that we're seeing besides like the kooky edit that she was getting so much in the beginning. And I'm doing that. Are we in that?
Yeah.
No, that made it like 20 times worse.
All right, let's go.
You have to slide. Wait.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
So,
you guys look great.
So what do you guys think of Nora? Because I'm becoming a big fan of Nora's, and I do think she's going to keep going in this game. I don't think her time is done yet.
I have loved Nora since day one, and I think you're right. There's kind of the two different sides of Nora that people either like or don't like. I think I've always thought kind of her antics and her way of being have been really funny and really endearing. And then I think the past 2 weeks with the 2-hour merge episode, she said, you know what? This feels wrong. I'm going to vote for Dan. Mm-hmm. Aaron's going to win immunity challenges. I'm going to vote for Aaron. They're just very succinct. They're logical. And I think people see Nora and they don't realize that she's very, very smart. And I think you're both right. She's a nutritionist. She's very athletic. And I think she'll continue to do very well in challenges.
Yeah.
I think she's going to go far.
Speaking of challenges, can we talk about what happened directly after she won?
When she
yes.
threw her thing.
Oh, sorry. I keep trying to do this. Okay.
No, because you would I would probably do the same thing, so I shouldn't be critical. You would probably be really excited after winning, but
I think in the moment you forget. Like it's like I like being in those challenges, like your mind is on nothing else but like what you're doing in that exact second. And it's so intense, and I just feel like she slipped, like her mind slipped. She forgot that she was supposed to keep going. I think many other people could have probably done the same thing.
Well, in defense, Jeff mentioned it to them while they were starting the challenge. They had already been in the challenge when Jeff said, by the way, whoever wins this is going to get peanut butter and jelly. She might have not heard it.
How long did she go on for before she was done?
20-something minutes probably.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe he said in the first 5 minutes, and then 20 minutes later, your brain is probably shaken up from they were all going like this the whole time. That I just I think it was an easy mistake to make. Not everybody would do it, but I can understand it.
I think
I would have been pissed. That peanut butter and jelly was the best thing I ever ate on that show. So I know what it's like to
Wait, so Mom, your angle is yeah, I get it, but screw you.
No, yes. I'm not saying that to Nora. No, I like Nora.
You bring up a good point with the peanut butter and jelly, Julie, because people always say that Survivor pizza looks really gross. Survivor peanut butter and jelly always looks really good.
It's so good. It honestly was the best meal I'd ever had, I think, out there out of everything. And it wasn't much, but it was really good. And yes, the pizza, that's why I didn't give up one of the reasons I didn't give up the chance at immunity in the challenge, because I saw he takes the blanket. Oh, you want to, but if you don't want to do the challenge, you can have this. And he takes off the blanket. And it looks like a pile of shit. So I'm I'm not eating that. That looks terrible, and I'll do the challenge. Awful. The pizza was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Nora at number 3. I tried to do my power rankings this week actually based on how I think people are going to finish, because Alexa and I kind of talked about that on the last podcast.
I was told to do this. Number 1 is the safest. No,
we do that.
Number 1 is the safest. Number 9 is the most likely to go home just this coming week. So what do you,
Julie? I've been doing this since season 30, and this is the first time I've ever felt confident enough to do it this way. Because
you're saying that
I think Nora is going to get 3rd place on this season, but normally I would sit there and I wouldn't put certain people at number 1 who could still be in danger. For instance, my number 1 is Tommy. And on a normal season, Julie just squinted at me so hard for anybody who's just listening.
Was that obvious?
Was that obvious? You almost you fell out of the couch. But
Tommy, you think is going to go home next week?
No, Tommy is who I think is going to win the game.
Oh,
yeah, so he's my number 1.
We do too. Same with us. He's our number 1. Janet and Tommy. I have them
So what I'm saying is normally on a regular season of Survivor, whoever's going to win, Dom and Wendell, I wasn't putting at 1 and 2 because they could have always gone home. You always felt like Dom and Wendell were threats. I don't think anybody thinks Tommy's a threat, so I have no problem putting him at number 1 because I just don't see him going home this week. I don't see him going home next week. Like, he's in our finale.
He's in my middle. See, I have my people who I think are going to make it to the end or the finale in the middle, because I still think at some point some of them probably might have to go or going to go, but I don't think that they're going this week.
I have Tommy and Lauren at 5 and 6. Only because I think people have been talking about splitting them up for a long time.
They are the only pair that seems to be left in the game. That's obvious. I don't even know who the alliances are anymore.
I don't really think there are alliances.
No, except maybe now. I mean, Tommy and Lauren definitely, I think, are going to stick together. I don't see either one turning on each other now. And I think they brought in Karishma and Elaine for that vote. And I could see the 4 of them becoming now a foursome for a bit. I don't know if it's going to last, but so they're kind of in my middle range, I think.
Yeah. I think that based on what I've seen, I think that Tommy, Lauren, Janet, and Dan, the 4 of them were close together on the original Vokai. And now they still have Nora, but Vokai has the numbers back. There's 4 of them and there's 5 of everybody else. I think the 4 of those, that group of 4, I don't see any of them going home this week or the next week, because they can pull in a Karishma who clearly doesn't want to work with Elizabeth, who I think is in trouble coming up, or they can pull in a Nora or maybe even a Dean. And I think that group of 4 really can work together. And I think that all of them are probably, I mean, my guess is that all of them are in the finale. And then I think it's Nora and Karishma. I think those are the final 6. I really do.
Interesting.
All right, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yes, we've gone way off track, and I'm confused now with my list.
Well, who's your number 1, Julie? Could you tell us your number 2?
Okay, so I got to look at this paper, which I can't read because I don't have my glasses on. Karishma, I have as number 1 as the safest for next week. I think at this point, I don't think she's going to be people's votes. She also has the idol, which, is huge. I am curious to see if she tells anybody that she has the idol or not. I don't think she will. I don't know if she has a true connection with anyone in the game that she feels safe enough to share that information with. So I'm betting she's not going to tell anybody. And I think that, I don't know. I mean, I think that she got a fairly not great edit in the beginning, obviously, but she's kind of coming into her own now. And I think she's smarter than people are giving her credit for. I think that she probably is a little bit of a better player than people are giving her credit for. And we're just seeing the edit. So, we've been given a particular edit for her. And I just don't, I don't know. I don't know my true feelings on her as a player, as a person. It's hard. It's hard. I don't want to judge people. I really don't.
I have Karishma too.
Me too.
For the same reason why I have kind of Nora. One is just because Karishma's name has come up and Nora's hasn't. Phil, I like what you were talking about earlier with those 4 pulling in someone. I mean, Elaine just kind of flipped now, even before so there's kind of 5 right there. Elaine, Tommy, Lauren, Dan and Janet.
Yeah.
So
I completely agree. I love Karishma.
I think Karishma's going to stay safe. I think I don't think she's going to win. I think she's not going to change people's perceptions of her at this point. I think I personally know what that's like. And I think it's just too hard of a road for her to get to a spot where she can actually win this game. But I do think that she's very safe for the next couple of votes for sure.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alexa.
So this is a quick point. So this season named Island of the Idols, only one idol has been played correctly. And it's because Kelly handed it to Dean, literally handed it to him on a silver platter. I think in addition to that, the only other correct idol play that will happen will be hers, because I think she's very aware of how she's perceived. And Julie, I think you're right. I don't know if that perception will change. I don't agree with that being right, but I think that's the reality of the situation. Yeah. But I think she knows where she stands. And I think when she plays that will shock so many people. And I think that could be a big 180 for her. And
right. Oh, and I would love, it would be great if she feels safe and she is safe. And that's sorry, because it's just and she lean forward. Okay, yeah, see, now we're close. I think it would be great if she's safe and she actually gets to use it. Say she uses it without anybody knowing, right? Like she has this plan where she saves somebody else at Tribal that she needs to save, say, and makes that kind of move. I think that would be really cool to like see her kind of do that kind of thing.
I think she's gonna end up idling out like Dan. For some reason or Dean, not Dan, Dean. Because Dean's edit was so quiet early on, and then it's picked up, and now he's been really integral to the story. But I could see him, who seems like he's playing a pretty good game. Like he's been on top of his stuff since the Chelsea boot. But I could see him getting like just booted by an idle play by Karishma, and everybody going, wait, where did that come from? And you got rid of somebody who could have potentially won the game, because out of the 9 people left, I look at Tommy and Janet as the clear front runners. Whoever they sit next to, unless it's each other, they win. And then everybody else is kind of like, does Dean beat Nora? I don't know. Does Lauren beat anybody? I don't know. Like, it's so up in the air right now that I think that somebody like Dean could possibly win the game, and I think I could see Karishma playing the idol and getting him out of the game at some point.
That would be interesting. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think that Dean, I like Dean. Actually, Dean lives a block away from us and in the neighborhood. And I have met him. He's a very nice guy. I know nothing about the game and what happens with him in the game. But I think that he got such an invisible edit in the beginning that most people would say there's no way that he's going to be able to win this game with that kind of edit. So it's hard, like, to kind of, are we judging things based on the edits or judging on what, like, what we're seeing? It's hard to say.
Yeah. I agree. My number 2 is Lauren. So I have Karishma. Yeah, I have Karishma.
Oh, right. You're going the weird.
I'm doing it the right way. We're all here.
All right.
I don't know. I'm feeling a little
confusing. It's confusing to me.
So I think that first, second, and third is Tommy's 1, Karishma's 2, and then Nora is 3. I don't have Karishma at 2. Sorry, I have Lauren at 2. I typed Karishma in my spot instead of Jake's spot. So I have. See, this is what happened.
You think that this week Lauren is safer than Karishma?
Honestly,
Lauren's pretty safe.
I think Lauren has a 0% chance to be voted out of Survivor Island of the Idols. I really do. I never see her getting voted out because Lauren's name has never come up. People keep talking about trying to split up Tommy and Lauren, but then they never actually act on it. And if you're going to gun for somebody, like if you can rally the troops, if Elaine and Karishma and Nora and Dean and Dan, if they all for some reason decide to vote out Tommy or Lauren, you're voting Tommy out 100% of the time because Tommy is so much more of a threat to win the game. Or you vote out Janet. There is no chance you vote out Lauren in this game. She hasn't gotten a vote yet.
I agree.
I think there's kind of one scenario in which Lauren goes.
All right, I'm ready.
And that's kind of where we get to a place, say maybe final 7 or 6, when Janet has already gone, and then Tommy wins immunity. I could see Lauren going, say, in that scenario.
I think she only goes home in kind of stray bullet is the wrong word, but we can't get him, so let's get his closest ally.
I feel like that's how so many people in my season went out because we couldn't get out Rick.
Right.
Like the vote was always on Rick, like for the second half of the season, if it could be, I guess.
And I'm not going to sit here and say Karishma is completely safe because she has an idol, because so far on this season, getting an idol means like you're gone that week.
I know, but she knew not to play it this time. Like, she obviously, I was so excited when she found it. And so that island that they're on right now is my Kama beach where I started. And exactly like where she found it, I looked so many times. Like we had a million trees like that where they had these weird, I forget what kind of trees they are, but they had those weird branchy pole things at the bottom, roots. And I had a feeling it was going to be in there.
Well, it's good to know that they're not always hiding idols in the same spot.
Oh, sometimes they are. Sometimes they are. It seems like they might be.
Good study material.
It was also interesting. Didn't Kelly find her second idol? It was somewhere on the beach, on like inside a log that was on the beach or something.
Yeah, it was quick. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. None of ours were ever on the beach. And I think we all kind of finally gave up thinking that they'd be on the beach because we thought maybe it's just like too risky with the sand and the wind and I don't know what. So I was like, oh, there's one on the beach.
Yeah.
So,
Alexa,
okay.
Who's your 2?
My number 2 is also Karishma.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured we would all have Nora and Karishma pretty high up.
Right. They're my 1 and 2. And I mean, it could go either
They're
way.
my 1 and 2 as well.
But not Phil's, because he's decided to change
I've decided to just rules. I'm breaking the rules.
He's gone rogue.
I've gone rogue, but also like they missed their chance to get rid of Tommy. They did. They had 2 chances to get rid of Tommy this season, and they missed their chance both times. One was because they ended up winning the immunity challenge, and we see him like screaming, and then he wins. And then last week was the chance to get rid of him.
I love that. When he screamed and collapsed on those.
It was amazing.
We were so excited. He's been sick. He's been, I think he, I mean, I know that emotional feeling, like when you're feeling like if you're in that, well, I don't know, I wasn't in trouble, but if you're feeling like you're in that much trouble, and then like he needed his team to win, you could see that was just pure, real emotion there. And I loved it. That's what I like, right? Don't we all like?
That's what we all want.
I love that.
That's what makes for great TV.
Except everybody hates Tommy, so you know.
Why?
I don't know, Alexa. Why does everybody hate Tommy?
I think the internet. I don't know when it happened, but I think the internet has decided that he's boring.
That's not right.
Which isn't fair. I mean, the guy's done nothing wrong. He's playing a good game. I think people are just looking for.
I think he's getting a very positive edit, but are you basing your decision when, this is what I was gonna say, Phil, when you said that you don't, like, they missed their chance to get out Tommy, right? Like they could have taken these chances and now they're not gonna get another one or whatever. Like, but you're thinking that because you're watching Tommy's edit and how great he looks because he's being given a very positive edit, but you're not in the game. They might not think Tommy's so great. We haven't seen all the bad stuff about Tommy, or if there is any, sorry, Tommy, but so it's what's obvious to us may not be so obvious in the game.
That's why I think he's even safer. That's why I feel confident putting him at number 1, because last week he goes to a tribal council with the 4 original Lyro women who have been talking about a women's alliance the entire time, and he survives it. And I don't think anybody realizes, everybody's been saying Janet gets to the end, she can win. You know, they were talking about that last week.
Nobody's saying that about him.
Nobody's saying that about Tommy.
Now,
and so I'm so confident.
Your winner pick because of the color of his hair?
No, actually, my winner pick before the season was Missy, and now she's gone. So now I can just go all in on Tommy.
I remember last season it was Victoria, and now it's Tommy.
Did you know that Tommy mentioned us on when he interviewed with Josh Wigler before the season? He mentioned us, and pretty much that's all you have to do. He pretty much bribed me, and I'm like, sure, Tommy, you're my winner pick. Good job.
I didn't even know who you were.
Well, you know what, Julie?
Now.
You know what?
Right.
I mean,
anyway,
that was your loss.
I'm seeing a slight obsession in the way you're picking your winner picks, so you might want to think about that.
Yeah,
well, Janet's who I want to win super bad. I actually want Janet to win more than Tommy right now, but I just don't see a path where she does win. So I'll get to Janet in a second.
Okay.
But I think Janet's going to be somebody who just misses. I won't even have to get to her in a second. I think Janet's going to get 4th on this season. I think she's going to be like our fall in right at the end of the game. If she would have gotten to the end, kind of like what happened with Devins. If he gets to the end.
Do you think she's going to be in the fire making challenge?
I do.
But I think she can win the fire making challenge.
That's
Did you
true.
not
Who would
see
she
her on
lose to?
episode 1?
No, you're right.
When I saw that, I was like, when I heard there was what is she, 59, or she was 59 when she filmed this season, and I was like, oh my gosh! Like when I was trying out for the season, for the show, right before I made it, I was watching Ghost Island, and the oldest person on Ghost Island was 43, and I was so worried that I wasn't going to get cast anymore because I was 46, and I thought I had aged out as Survivor. So now, like on episode 1 of this season, to see a 59-year-old woman and the way she talked about like fighting that older woman stereotype, and she knew she had to like change their perspectives and make fire right away. Like I was so impressed, and it was like everything. I feel like I did everything opposite Janet. Like I'm the opposite Janet. And what I could learn a lot of lessons from Janet because she's amazing to me, and she and Tommy to me are getting like the 2 heroes of the season.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to change them where I put Janet. I'm going to put her at 5 because somehow she's not winning, and you're right, she can't lose the fire making challenge because who's going to beat her? So I'll put her at 5. So which means Karishma's my 4.
I have can we
moving on
to kind of
number 3, right?
I have Dan at 3.
I also have Dan at 3. We're very similar, Jake.
I have Dan at 6. Oh, you and Alexa?
Yeah.
I have Dan at 6, but you guys can talk why Dan at 3.
You go ahead, Jake.
Okay, so I have Janet at 3, basically because I think he's in a really good spot right now. If we forget everything that kind of happened with the 2-hour merge episode, I think Dan has been like kind of escaped that and found like a new life. I think he's doing really well, and like he's close with Tommy and Lauren. He's close with Nora, and
it seems like his relationship with Janet has been rebuilt.
He has like 4 people who probably wouldn't want to vote him out right now, and that's kind of all it takes because 5 is the majority, if not.
And I think with that same group that people are saying that Tommy and Lauren are so tight, and how people would only get rid of Lauren if they like because they can't get rid of Tommy. I think that's the same thing with Dan. You should get rid of Lauren and Tommy before you get rid of Dan.
And Janet. Yeah.
And Janet. So yeah.
I mean, it's too hard for me to understand like what everyone's thoughts are on him, and because like I'm trying to put my mind in their brains like while they were out there now after that all happened, because obviously it seems very clear based on some of the exit press of the people who have been voted out or Ponderosa videos. It's very unclear really who thinks what, who knew what, or what exactly was happening. I mean, obviously we see stuff on video, we see what he's doing, but what other people's perceptions of it is not so clear to me anymore. I don't think it's so obvious as it was to us watching it, like how inappropriate it was. Like, and even me watching it as a previous contestant, like no time in the game did anyone put their hands on me, like where I would feel that I felt it was like creepy and uncomfortable. Like I can't even picture that happening. So clearly something was going on, and it was very inappropriate. And I think I can say this. I don't know. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I think that so Dan was in my casting with me in the February before I got cast for 38, and he was the only. No, Carl from 37 was in my casting, as well as somebody else, I think. But nobody on my season was in my casting. And I had heard a rumor that Dan was actually supposed to be on my season.
He was.
And got injured like a week before or 2 weeks before. And so they had to like postpone him. And all I keep thinking is like, oh my gosh, like if he had been on my season, I think I would have, just from us being in casting together, like you immediately like bond with people that even though you've never spoken to them, you're making eye contact the whole week you're in casting. I remember him very clearly thinking, okay, he looks about my age, you know, we're going to be 2 of the older people if we end up on the same season, like we'll have to watch out for each other, which is exactly what I ended up doing with Ron and why I connected with Ron so quickly on Kama, because we were the 2 people that were 46. So I think that now I'm just quite feeling lucky that sorry that Dan hurt himself, but I'm glad that that wasn't on my season.
I think so too. I guess disclaimer, I have Dan at number 3 strictly based on game stuff.
All right, well he's my number 6.
Yes.
Yeah, I have him at 6.
I don't see him going home, but I don't see him.
He's not winning, but he's not going home this week.
Yeah, that's what I have him right at 6 as well.
Right.
Okay.
Julie, who's your 3 though?
So I have Dean as number 3, and I'm looking to see why. Oh, I just don't think anyone has a reason to vote him out right now. He is not, I haven't heard his name come up in a long time. He doesn't seem to be a threat in any way, even though he was talking about, well, if Aaron goes, then like I'm going to be the next target. I think, was he saying that to Dan? As if the 2 of them are the next 2 challenge beasts? I'm like, Dan? Like, really? Dean, I mean, just because physically you can see how strong he is or what he looks like, but he hasn't performed that great in challenges. I don't see him as a huge challenge threat in everybody else's mind. I don't see him as a strategic threat. I think that he is seems like a free agent. I'm not sure who he's ever really been connected with besides with Kelly when she gave him her idol. And I think that, right. And it seems like a lot of these people that are alone, are going to start to joining together. I know they said the whole thing with the GOAT Army in the, previews for this coming week.
Oh, and by the way, for the people wondering who replaced Dan, it was Ron.
That's what we think. Yes, that is.
Yeah, no, I believe that too. I mean,
from the demographic.
Just from the demographic, the same age type of guy. No, sorry, Ron. I'm not going to try and compare them. They're not the same type of guy, obviously. Sorry, Ron. but in terms of just demographically who they are.
Ron tweets one mean thing about you, Julie.
Mm.
I'm just kidding.
We don't need to talk about Ron's Twitter.
We know what you meant here. Yeah, but it's the 40s, both work in entertainment store. I mean, I know that Ron is a teacher, but he's a personality too. He's not just a teacher. I mean, I love following his Instagram because you just get to watch like Ron dance and do weird stuff.
I just mean it look, they're both men in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have replaced Dan with another Joe. I mean, that would.
What if it's War Dog?
It could have been
about the same type of athlete, right?
Yeah. So Dean is my number 3, and
I have Dean at 7.
You do? You think he's not so safe?
Yeah, I just thought with kind of the GOAT army, if that is a thing, and I hope it is because that would be awesome. I just kind of have a pessimistic view of them.
Of who?
Of that the GOAT army working. I don't think it would. I feel like somehow that goes and blows up, and one of the people involved goes home or something.
You think it could be Dean? I just don't think anyone's looking at Dean, even with that stupid fake advantage that he got from Jamal. I think everyone knew that was fake. He's not a target because people think he has some advantage. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
So, go ahead, Alexa.
So one thing that I've seen some people. One thing that people are commenting on. So I rewatched the preview, and some people are actually thinking that when Dean does his salute, the GOAT army, people actually think he might be making fun of it rather than.
No, I think he knows he's part of it. Don't you?
So? I can't tell. At first, I thought he was part of it, but
it could go either way.
Yeah,
I think he's making fun of himself. He seems like a self-deprecating kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the way he's carried himself throughout this game, it's just his demeanor, his body language. I think he's kind of making fun of it, that he knows he hasn't been able to be the lead on anything real, has he? And he knows that. So he knows that he has to be part of that, in my mind. But I'm curious to see.
Yeah. I have Dean further down too, but I'm so far ahead of everybody. I don't want to keep going. But I have Dean further down just because I think it's more that they run out of places for Dean. If Elizabeth to me feels like the obvious choice this week. Missy and Aaron just went. Elizabeth was very against Janet. Janet feels like she's gotten control back. So now it's gotta be Elizabeth who goes home this week. But
I have her number 9.
That's who I have at number 9.
Why are we talking about number 9? I just talked about my number 3.
I have someone else at number 9, but we'll get there later.
But what I'm saying is, if it's not,
that's the way to host a show, Phil.
That is the way. No, he knows what he's doing. I don't know why I'm doing it.
Jake, what do you do Wednesday nights at 9 p.m.? Do you want to start podcasting with me?
That's when they do their recap after the episode's over. They do
the
that.
Episode will be over.
Do the predictions for the next week. No, he's doing homework.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a really good point to make here. Okay, it was a great point. Great point. What I'm saying is, I think that when Elizabeth, if Elizabeth were to win immunity this week, I don't see the Vocais turning on themselves, and I don't think Karishma goes. So you're starting to run out of people because now you're down to 3 people it can be, and it's Elaine, Dean, or Elizabeth. If Elizabeth wins immunity or something like that happens, Dean kind of goes just because you're out of numbers. You just ran out of people to vote out of the game who aren't in your alliance. And so now Dean's name is automatically just coming up.
By default, because Elaine went with Tommy and
maybe like an outsider type of.
That's why I feel like he could just be in a little bit more trouble than we think, just because we're getting down.
I'm banking on my number 9 going home. I guess that's why it's put him higher, because I don't think I'm only looking at this week coming up.
Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't spoil who your number 9 was yet, right, Julie?
Mm-mm.
No,
because it's supposed to be in order.
Actually, none of us have, except for you, Phil.
No, right. Julie definitely did, because me and Julie are the same one.
How do we know?
Because you said it. So Julie and Alexa, you both have number 4 here.
Julie, let's hear your number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is so now I have Lauren. I have a group. Basically, I think she's not a target. She's never been a target. She's paired with Tommy. I think Tommy's the bigger target. If anybody's looking at the 2 of them, for sure. And I think she's fairly safe, and I think she's going to make it to the finale.
Mm-hmm.
I have Elaine at 4.
Ooh, different.
I have this just because I think and I think she made the underrated the underrated best move of last episode by voting Missy out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this because I think what we're talking about, like Vokai, if they're gonna go strong, they have to go on some Lyros. So I think if Elaine recognized this, then which I think she did, then she would have realized that she needs to do something to protect one of those Vokai to avoid being like, say, 9th or 8th. And so I think Tommy can put in a good word for her if they are talking about Lyra.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about how creepy that was? What Missy whispered in her ear right before she left tribal council. I'm sorry. Where was it? I'd kill Elaine slowly and methodically.
No,
correct.
So Missy whispers to Elizabeth, "You know you have to kill Elaine now."
Slowly and methodically.
And then Elizabeth goes slowly and methodically.
Right. No. Missy said that. Missy said it all to her. Yes. No, I was like, oh my God, like you really are a villain here. It sounded very I would have crawled under my stool if I had heard that at tribal council.
Jeff, I'll go home instead.
Yeah. Like I'm scared now. Okay, so wait, so who do you guys then have as number 4?
So for number 4, I have Janet. I agree with Phil in that I would like her to win, but I do not see the path for her to get there. But I think her and Dan reconnecting was really big for her. And I don't mean that in the sense of him, but I just mean that in the sense of she has social capital now when she didn't after that merge episode. So I think she took a big step back this week. And I think having the tribes divided was huge for her. I think it benefited her more than anybody. And so I think now she can just take a step back. Other people will win immunities. Other people are going to start eating each other. I think because that giant alliance blew up, she is safe for a little bit. I think she's always just going to still be this huge threat, but I think people are going to want to use her as a number, even though she's not just someone's number. Mm-hmm. They'll want to use her to do something crazy like getting Tommy, Elaine, somebody else home.
Again, do you think they all see her as such a big threat the way we do?
I think
they've said it about
or do they
her.
just all really like her? I can't remember like what people have said.
I think they really like her. I think they really respect her. I think she has been a good quiet leader. I think they all look up to her, but don't see her as like the big leader. But no, I think someone said it. I don't know if it was.
It was last week when they were determining whether she should go home or not.
Was like, she made fire. She did this. Like she's been floating around.
Okay. I can't remember. It's hard for me to keep track of who says what about who.
Yeah.
Phil, did you do your 4?
I had Karishma at 4 because remember I was going to put Janet and then you convinced me I was wrong.
Oh, okay.
So I put Karishma at 4 and then I put Janet at 5. So we're up to 5 for Alexa and Julie. You both have 5.
After you.
I have Tommy as 5. I do look. I see him winning. I think I could see him as an easy winner of the game. There's really been nothing negative like shown about him. I love his emotions. Like I said before, I think it like makes it super exciting. Even when he had like the tears in his eye at the well when he thought he was like in trouble of going home. I think we've seen all sides of him. I don't agree with whatever's going on in the internet or, Reddit or he's playing. Like, you go out there and try and like play this game like while you're starving and sleep deprived and, the rain coming down on you. Right. And then try and be entertaining in every confessional that you give. Like, it's ridiculous. The only thing is like I have him at 5, even though I think he is going to probably be in the finals or at least in the finale. I think he's the only one that probably is going to be really seen as a threat, like a bigger threat right now, either in the challenges or strategically. So I think that he could have some sort of target on him. So that's why I have him in the middle.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. I think last week was the first week that Tommy got votes, right?
I think it was.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think what we're saying and that we view him as a huge threat, but nobody else does is right. But I think because he got 2 votes, and granted they were from someone who left and Elizabeth, I think he is going to be exposed. I think it helps that this was Elaine's idea and the heat will fall back on Elaine as the person who kind of came up with this, but there's not much room to hide. And I think with Aaron being gone and with Missy being gone, immunities will probably be up between Nora, Tommy.
What do you mean the heat will be on?
I think the attention will be on Elaine because she made this big move to get rid of her own ally.
Mm-hmm.
And so
but it was Elizabeth, only from Elizabeth will the heat be on her. I don't think anyone else is going to be bothered that Missy is out of this game.
I guess heat's the wrong word, but more of like, oh, Elaine can make a move because no one she can, which is shocking.
I think they're gonna I mean, we saw in the premiere about people's thoughts on Elaine if she gets to the end and with her storyline, and that's what. Well, I have Elaine lower on the list, but we'll get there.
Mm-hmm. So I think Tommy's safe, but I think because his name has finally come up, it could continue to. So that's just why I have him in the middle.
Yeah. Phil, 5?
No. I had Janet at 5. I agree with what everybody's saying about Tommy. It's just it's something about Missy going instead of Tommy last week made me think that, again, Julie, it comes back to what you've been saying this whole time. Do they think that this person's as much of a threat as we do? They got rid of Missy over Tommy in a prime position to get rid of Tommy.
But look at how Missy was playing the game in so much more of an obvious, very aggressive way. I mean, she is a tough competitor. She was playing hardcore, but I just think too aggressively, and especially obviously the way she spoke and treated Karishma in what we saw, why wouldn't Karishma want to get rid of her? Like Tommy or Missy are going to be both strong players. And I think I heard somebody else say this, you're going to want to, sometimes it is a personal decision based on who's been nice to you. Even if it's not how you should play Survivor, but at the same time, I don't think it was the wrong call to get rid of Missy at this point. She was playing very aggressively.
She was playing very aggressively. I don't know what her chances would have looked like if she actually sat in a final 3, but clearly somebody's thinking that she can win.
Yeah, I thought as much as we're saying this was the prime time to get rid of Tommy, this was the time to get rid of Missy.
And to get Aaron at the same time. I mean, there was a threesome. They were the only real threesome going on, I think, in this game that we can really see. Elizabeth, Tommy, and Aaron. I mean, no, Elizabeth, Aaron, and Missy. And now 2 of them just got knocked out. It really changes up the game, I feel like.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. All right. So we've all done our 6. Jake had Lauren. Julie and I both had Dan. Alexa, who's your 6?
I have Dean, and I really don't know why. I think you guys are right. In that, why should someone get rid of Dean? What is he doing that's making anyone need to get rid of him? But I think just not having allies for this long is going to catch up with him at some point because people are going to start making final 2 and final 3 deals. And I don't really know who Dean's going to sell that to and who's going to sell that to him. So I think he's fine, but I don't know. I mean, number 6 out of 9, that's not terrible, but I don't know. I always feel like you could go home because if someone brings his name up, no one will ever defend him.
Yeah.
Right. But also, I mean, I think at this point in the game, when it gets to a certain number left, yes, you're making those deals, but so many people are making deals with everybody. It almost feels like half the time, I don't even know if people know what deals are real and what aren't. Mm-hmm. But you can't stop now thinking about now who are you want to go to the end with that you think you can beat. And if people think that Dean's just kind of been there and hasn't made a lot of big moves, then that's obviously, I'm not so sure that he's in trouble going home anytime soon. Mm-hmm. It depends how they're thinking of him.
So my 7 is Elaine. And the reason I put Elaine above Dean is because of what Alexa just said with the friend thing, where Elaine has shown she's willing to kind of play ball with Tommy now and play ball with Karishma. And Dean hasn't really had to show that yet. And I know that he did vote the right way at the last tribal council, but there is nobody who's sitting there going, Dean's my guy. Dean's my number 1. Got to go to the end with Dean. The person who would have said that is sitting on the jury and Kelly. And so I think that Elaine, if Tommy sits down with Lauren and Elizabeth were to win immunity this week, and they were to sit down and say, who do we get rid of? Do we get rid of Elaine or do we get rid of Dean? Well, Elaine would work with us. Dean's never going to work with us. Or he hasn't shown he'll work with us, and Elaine has.
I can see that now. Right. If you're looking at the original tribe alliances, or the Vokai, I don't even know. What are the names? Vokai
and Lyra.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember the vowels in which way. Okay. Right. Like if they're going to stick together, Nora's been with them, Dan, Janet, like from the beginning with Tommy and Lauren, right? Like that whole group. Then if Elizabeth somehow is safe next week based on an immunity win, I think they're going to keep Karishma. Obviously that whole winking thing between Tommy and
oh my God,
Karishma, they had a little moment there. Right. I like that. I thought that was so funny. I think that, Dean could be the next on the list. I could see that.
I have, if we're going to 7, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have Dean at 7, which is kind of just continuing on what we've talked about. So instead of kind of talking about Dean, because I think I've already said what I want to say, I want to go back to the last episode where Elaine won immunity. That was such a good moment in Survivor. I was so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's happy for her too.
Which is why she's low on my list, because now not only does she have like a great storyline that nobody wants to sit next to her at the end, but now she also has proven that she can win an immunity challenge and she can be quite good at it, even though physically she never looked like such a threat. So I feel like there could be a big target on Elaine.
I want Elaine to go on like a 5 immunity challenge run.
Yeah.
We never know. It could happen.
That would be great if she's our like Terry of this season. It's Elaine of all people.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know.
And she's so good at playing it off like, oh, you had to give me this redneck game and I can win this. Can't win anything. Like she's so good at just being so like, good. Oh, silly old me.
Right.
It just keeps happening.
Right. I think she definitely has shown that she's way smarter than people were giving her credit for. I think somebody even said, maybe it was Missy said it earlier on in the season, that they didn't think that she was I don't want to say it was Missy. I don't remember who it was. I
think it was Missy.
They didn't put a lot of stock in Elaine in terms of as a strategic player. And I think.
Oh, Lauren. Lauren had made a comment.
That's who it was. Yeah, you're right, Alexa. For some reason, it was after the swap. You're right.
Right. They were all in the same tribe. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I worry for Elaine. I have her low on my list and I'm afraid that she could be a target soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Speaking of Lauren, that's who I have at my number 7. I think you guys are right, but I'm always nervous of the number 2. And that's not saying that I think that Lauren is the number 2 of her and Tommy, but I think others will see it that way. And so I don't think this is going to be a clean 6 vocais getting out these remaining 3 Lyros. I think everyone's going to start eating each other. And I think everyone really likes her. I think she's super bubbly. Everyone gets along with her. And I think the way that people really like Elaine. So people aren't going to let Elaine get to the end. People seem to really like Lauren. So they probably won't let her get to the end.
So why is she your number 7?
Well, I think my 7, 8, 9, any of those 3 could go home. I think any of the 3 of them have a really good chance of going home. My 8 is Elizabeth. My 9 is Elaine. I know I just finished mine off really quickly. I just think out of that group, it's not going to be Tommy. It won't be Janet. It certainly won't be Nora. I don't really know where Dan's stance is. I think if they want to do something crazy, Lauren is the one that they go for. Mm-hmm. If they're going to eat themselves. And then
I just feel like they would go for Tommy over Lauren.
Yeah, I think they could.
Unless he wins immunity. And then maybe they get rid of her because it takes somebody away from him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really does depend on who wins immunity.
Right.
At this point, moving forward.
Julie, one thing I have to say before we get to your number 7, Alexa just cleared her rankings and you didn't give her any crap for that after you gave me crap for jumping around all day. So I want to know why we're playing favorites on the specialist here. That's what I'm realizing.
She's my fellow New Yorker. Aren't you in LA?
God. Well, but I'm actually from the North. I'm like from Jersey. She's from Boston.
Oh, well, I'm from Maryland. So we're all East Coasters. So.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying, I wanted a little love here,
I'm your fellow New Yorker too. I take personal offense to that.
Yeah.
Oh, you? Well, okay. You know how I feel about you. Okay. Yeah. Number 7. Is that what we want for me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's where I have Janet. I really think that I do think she could win this game, which is why I have her, at number 7. I'm doing the reverse of Phil. Because I just think that I don't know. I'm worried with everything that happened with the double episode. And even though she seems to have socially been able to get back with people, something there just makes me feel like they're going to target her at some point. And she's not. I'm worried she's not going to make it to the end. I think if she does make it to the end, I think she can easily win. I just worry that she's going to become a target before a lot of the other people that we've already talked about.
Yeah. I mean, me putting her as high as I did, I think, is just because I think her original Vokai alliance is going to come up for her recently. But if you're looking at threat and who can win and all of that, it definitely makes sense for Janet to be lower in the rankings than where I have her.
Right. I did something. I was thinking, we were talking about Jan and Janet. No, Jan.
Jan and Janet.
Close. All right, Jan. No.
Yeah. One more time.
You got this.
Stan and Janet. Okay.
There we go.
I think that they it seems like they were from the original days on their tribe, the name Vokai, right? Vokai.
Mm-hmm.
They were I think they were aligned, right? And now they're like realigned after everything that happened, which we still aren't sure what's going on there with that storyline because it disappeared this week. But I do I wonder, Dan but he seemed very tight with Elizabeth and Missy and Aaron in that whole double merge episode. And now two of his people are gone, and so is and Elizabeth is not. I think she's like dead man walking for me, but in the next episode. So he's lost almost everybody that he was connected to. And where's my point with all this?
I was believing it, whatever it was.
I don't know what the point was about the connection of Dan seeming to lose a lot of key players for him and his alliances. I don't know where I was going with that.
You were I think you were saying maybe Dan should be like 1 or 2 spots lower on your list. I don't know. Just from input.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, I'm losing my mind. Okay.
That's all right, Julie. You have time to get it back.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So where are we up to? What are we doing now?
What are we up to now? We're up to 8, except for Alexa, who's done.
Okay. I guess I'll be done too.
I think he's the only one that hasn't revealed.
Yeah, Jake, let's hear it.
I'll be done too for 8 and 9.
Okay.
Elizabeth at 8, Janet at 9.
Ooh.
Wow.
How dare you put Janet at 9 on this podcast?
Wow, that is not allowed up in here.
Yeah.
See, I think what people are gonna start to realize about Janet is if if she gets to the final 4, she wins. Because
it's same with Elaine, no.
Because Elaine would probably lose the fire making challenge. Janet will probably win a fire making challenge. So I feel like people are gonna start realizing. I think Janet recently has kind of slipped under the radar, and I think it's about time that she comes back up. I think people are gonna start realizing how dangerous she really is. Like, she has to make it through this vote and then 4 more, and then she wins.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I don't want to agree because I'm rooting for her so much.
I think you're right.
I think that it's very likely she could go home at some point. If it's not this week, it could. Right. So my 8 and 9 are. I have Elaine at 8, and I have Elizabeth at 9. What? Why are you saying? What are you doing?
I'm just saying. I mean, you might have said Elizabeth earlier after I had said Elizabeth, and you were like, "I didn't reveal my number 9. Only Phil did that." But anybody was listening closely.
Play back the tapes.
Play them back.
So I think we've talked about Elaine. She's just so likable. Now she's won a challenge. People might be like, "Ooh, like wait, Elaine can win individual immunity now." I think that
ally.
What?
Your ally.
Right. Although she could be in a good position. Like I do see that Lauren, Tommy, Elaine, and Karishma thing like holding strong now for a bit. So, but I do think she's going to be in trouble at some point. And then I have Elizabeth last just because, she could be a free agent now. It seems like she has almost nobody. But at the same time, I think it's an easy vote. Although it never goes the easy vote. So
I know.
I think she's going to be a free agent. I think that Vokai group's going to blow up and they're going to use her.
But I haven't seen any drama to think that that leads me to believe that they're going to blow up. Sometimes things don't blow up. Yeah, it depends on the personalities of the people in the group and how explosive those personalities are.
And they're all pretty, not low-key personalities.
Yeah.
But I just this entire season, I feel like the people who have gone home have just been Russian roulettes.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I just don't know when Ronnie was the easy vote. Molly was odd, but an easy
Very
vote.
odd. Yeah.
I don't really get why they got rid of her. And so I feel like there haven't been many easy votes. So Elizabeth feels too easy.
Yeah, on this season it feels out of place, but maybe there's always one easy vote on every season, and maybe this just happens to be that one.
And what we're not thinking about is because I know obviously they even showed it on my season that the loved ones visit. It's not coming up this episode. I think they would have showed previews for that, obviously, but I think it's coming up the next for sure.
Okay.
When there'll be
loved ones at 8 or 7.
It'll be like I bet when it'll be like 8 or 7 left. But it's like it's on people's minds right now, like because they're so close to that point, and we don't know who has made deals with each other on like, okay, if I win, I bring you. If you win, you bring me. Like that. That's all anybody is really talking about as it gets closer and closer, and that could like really influence who you're going to vote out just based on. Wait a minute, like Lauren and I have been talking about this since day 5. Like that's how Ron and I were. Like I don't think that person's going to vote out the person he's made this deal with so quickly. I do think even though we're never going to see any of it, it's in their minds, and that could influence just right there who's going to get voted out.
I have like Elizabeth at 8. I think she is probably one of the like. I think we can all agree. Last episode was very like just basically just kind of demolished her. With her losing.
Don't sugarcoat it.
She was in a pretty good spot with Aaron, and I think that kind of split with the 2 tribes kind of really affected her game negatively, and I don't know.
I don't see how she's coming back from this, but unless, like you said, she just finds
if Elizabeth can play if Elizabeth can like play this bottom angle to the jury and then play that to the end, then I think she might have a chance.
I don't know. Wait, Phil, what do you think about her?
I have her at 9 as well. Like the good host I am, I finished last, but I had Dean at 8 and then Elizabeth at 9. Julie, I can't help it. Okay. But I think that Elizabeth is. I think there's just no way you can rebound. I totally agree with you. Yeah. How does she come back from losing her 2 closest allies? And now she's got to go back to a beach where Janet clearly isn't going to work with her because of the whole dance scenario. Dan doesn't even really seem like he's going to work with her because of the whole dance scenario. And then you have
who she's close to at this point.
And if she's looking at herself, I don't think she sees herself as one of the goats, and I don't think she should, to be honest.
No.
But if we're talking about this goat army, they're not going to be like, "Oh, Elizabeth, please be our captain." No, it's going to be Dean, Karishma, Nora, the likes of Dan, probably the likes of that. So I just don't know where Elizabeth fits in here. I think that she's just a sitting duck, and maybe she survives 1 vote. But even Jamal said it in the Ponderosa, or Aaron said it. One of them said it where it was like, I think it was Aaron. He said, "I'd rather be here than be Elizabeth right now."
Yeah,
because that's how dead he thinks Elizabeth is.
Yeah. Right. She's not going to feel very good at the beginning of next episode. That is the worst feeling for her to lose 2 people in one night.
Thing that I don't think we've talked about yet is that the split happened when there were 11 people left. So there was a tribe of 6 and a tribe of 5. So it was kind of unfair for the people in the tribe of 5.
For sure. It does seem a little bit odd, but nothing's fair.
I remember I had like a mid-in-episode crisis during when that happened, because I was like, I kept finding out they have to split at an even number because that would be fair. So I kept counting people.
Right, you kept thinking it has to be 6 and 6.
2 people told me it was 12. One voice in my head told me it was 12. One voice in my head told me it was 11.
Right, he just was very disturbed with the unfairness.
It was very weird that they did that.
It is.
I didn't like it.
Not as disturbed as Phil when I bring these up here.
No, bad.
Definitely more disturbing.
So funny. All right, so those are our rankings.
We did it, with 4 of us.
Yes, thank you. We're gonna have to see how it all plays out, and how many. I think there's only 4 episodes left in the entire season.
Yeah, it all ends on the 18th, so it's coming up very, very quickly, and so we're gonna have. I mean, it's crazy how fast we went from 13 to 9. I think this is the first time in Survivor history, not including when there wasn't a finale involved, that back-to-back episodes you lost 4 people. We've lost 3 and we've lost 2, but I don't think we've ever lost 4 in 2 episodes when a finale was not included. And so for that to happen, it just like very quickly 13. Now we're at 9 and we're into the end game. And just a couple minutes ago, we were just at the merge. So it happened very, very quickly, and it's making it really difficult.
The 2 double episodes, just like a bam, bam.
Yeah.
And now we're in kind of mid to late game.
Yeah.
The thing is with these 2 double episodes, or with the 2 double boots, they both fit together so well. And I know that they've already planned this beforehand, what's going to go on the TV schedule. Like, this isn't something that Survivor is like, oh no, these are the 2 episodes we want to do. This is something CBS decided. But both of these fit together so well, where we lose, what do you call it? We lose Kelly, and then we lose, Jamal, thank you. Kelly and Jamal, and it's the whole Dan storyline, and then the Dan storyline is over. And then we lose Aaron and Missy back to back, who were so closely aligned, who were such a big focal point of the previous episode. Like, it really worked out well for them this season, where now it's like we're starting all over again at Final 9. And all the previous storylines are kind of done. Right.
I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. I don't, sometimes like when you just see one storyline throughout the entire time, I think I don't know. I'm happy to see like where it goes from here, and if there's like new stuff to be seen.
Yeah.
For sure. I have to call one more person in. Hold on, because I promised her. Zoe!
Zoe!
It's a whole family affair over there.
My social media manager. She doesn't do rankings, but
Hugo.
But I wonder if I can we just disconnect all the AirPods, because she can't hear you?
Yeah,
you can disconnect them.
Does it sound? Oh, here, Zoe. I'm going to disconnect. Wait, Jake, hold on. I don't know how to disconnect.
Now let's see if Julie can still hear us. Now she's muted though.
Let's unmute her. Stand by.
I don't know if we can do it.
Oh no.
Unmute mic. Can't unmute your guest. The mic isn't connected.
No.
Julie, you're muted.
Put them back in.
Wait, no, she's gonna figure it out. Here we go.
Sign language.
Her social media manager is on it. So this is great. This is great because it's like we're doing sign language. Alexa, why don't you do a little speaking? Yeah, why don't you?
No, this is cool. We've had different screen shares, but we've never had like the whole family in before.
I know, and now it's still muted. So we have to talk. We have to walk her through this while she's there. So Julie, at the bottom, you have your microphone. At the very bottom. Now you want to click that.
Click your microphone.
And then you want to. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So we don't need these?
No.
Oh, all right. So we still have to disconnect them. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Oh, all right. There we go.
Hi, Zoe.
As you can see, right, this is my technical social media manager, who I need.
Very tech savvy. Thank you. Thanks for coming on, Zoe.
This is Zoe, and she just wanted to say hi. We finished our rankings. Do you have any winner picks for the season? Like, who's like your gut, like you want to win, you're rooting for? No. Jake, do not do that.
It's hard because whenever you think you have a winner pick, they end up like getting voted out the next day. Mm-hmm. That always happens to me. They never win, so I don't even know anymore.
I picked Jamal as my winner, and he left too soon.
My winner pick was Jason. Jake and I did that draft, and he picked Tommy as his winner pick, and I picked Jason, and I was sad to see Jason go.
I know. He was a good one.
Jason was great. Jason, that's just too early.
I thought he had such a good like story arc going, because he was on the bottom in the beginning, and kind of like a pariah on his tribe, and then like he made his way back in, and he built all these relationships, and I could tell he's such a strategic player. Maybe he'll get a second chance. I don't know. There's a lot of players on this season that I feel like could get a second chance.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
I totally agree.
It's a strong cast. It's a very strong
Especially that pre-merge. There's a lot. You had Chelsea, you got Molly, you have Jason. I mean, there's just so many people from the pre-merge that there's just too much. There's so much they could have done. There was so much they could have brought to the game, and this is just a really strong cast from top to bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
anything else?
I don't know. Alexa, do we have anything else?
I'm not sure. Zoe, how has managing Julie's social media been?
It has been
a challenge. I'm not very good at it. I don't have the time.
I remember like you used to spend like 30 minutes trying to get like the perfect caption for your Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Same.
I'd be like,
I still don't understand what
Why?
Instagram stories are. Everybody's doing these stories. And
Insta story. It's not Instagram story.
I've never posted one because I don't get it. I don't get the stories. I don't get the need for that. The videos of people just, and then they put all this like funny captiony like thing graphics, and it's like takes a lot of time.
Hand motions.
It takes a lot of time. One of my favorite things about Survivor was when we were on the island and like you had no phone or internet or laptop, and it was like quite refreshing to go 39 days and not even have to think about it. What?
You can't go like 5 minutes without your phone.
I know. Big 180.
Was this really so refreshing for you? But then you come back to like back on your phone.
Well, because Survivor, it sucks you in, like, you know.
Well, what I've always wondered is when you or other contestants, when you come back, is your nose just in your phone for a week because you hadn't seen it for that long, or do you still?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, you know, I had my husband like checking all my emails, all my texts, answering everything, either as me or just keeping track of what I needed to really be aware of. So it wasn't like there was so much there when I got home that I needed to like deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's not like I could tell people where I was.
Right.
You know, they didn't really. Only a handful of my family knew. So I think you get back into it quite quickly. I'm addicted.
And you've gotten quite good at it now.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I told you with the Twitter stuff. I don't know. I need to like segue into like real life stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that's what Twitter's for.
No, I don't think so. That's what Insta stories are for. Mm-hmm. This way everybody can know what you're doing every second of every day. That's the important part.
Every meal, every restaurant you go to.
Yes.
You're not having fun unless you post it on Insta.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'll get on it.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. If you ever end up at an Applebee's, please post it, because Lauren and her boyfriend were supposed to go to Applebee's with the gift card. I got Lauren because we made a bet and I lost.
Yeah.
And so they were supposed to go to Applebee's and she was supposed to with her NFL player husband, her boyfriend. And they were supposed to do they were supposed to do an Insta story of the food, because she always does food Insta stories. So if you ever go to an Applebee's, please do a food Insta story for me.
I don't know if there's an Applebee's in New York City. There must be, but I don't know where it is. I've never been to Applebee's ever.
I have also never been to an Applebee's. I was in a cab home last night. I think there's an Applebee's on like
there's definitely one in
6th Ave and
we should wait.
6th maybe.
We should go.
Let's go to Applebee's.
Way too long there.
Yes, it did.
No, it's
no. There you are.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah.
We should go to Applebee's in New York City, and then we can Insta story it, and
this sounds great.
You can teach me.
And I
will be so jealous.
Need me anymore.
Oh, I'll always need you. Yeah. Shame
I don't need you.
Nice.
Oh, that's how we're gonna end it for sure. On that note, that very.
Okay.
Well, for those of you who love to use Insta, make sure to follow us at Survivor Specialist on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Julie, Zoe, Honey, and Jake, we loved having all 4 of you. Hi, Jake. All 4 of you. I'm not sure where Honey went, but make sure.
And we're missing Hugo. We have a second dog.
He was just like lying on the couch sideways.
Here's Zoe, scoot over.
Well, we loved having all of you on. Wow, this is a Christmas card.
We got the family portrait.
Mark is working, so he is not here. So.
Great. Sorry, Mark. But we loved having you on. For those of you who will be tuning in this Wednesday night, I will be kicking Phil off and just recapping with Jake instead Wednesday right after the episode. Thank you so much for coming on, all 3 of you. This was a
Thank you guys. Fun. Thank you.
Wait, I have to do something.
You haven't gotten let off the hook yet.
Today.
Wait, no, it's not the wooden toys. Don't worry.
I found a dog.
Oh.
What are you playing? Survivor.
I like that Julie didn't know that.
I'm tone deaf. I actually am.
This is amazing.
Hugo, no, do not. Hugo, you don't want to eat these wooden toys. I don't think you can go anywhere.
It takes me a while.
Now you get it. Now you get
I
it.
didn't hear tunes ever, so I didn't even
This
know
one looks like
that
me.
was the Survivor theme song. Even though it's my ringtone for the last 7 years, ever since I was trying to get
It
cast.
looks like me,
Oh, yeah.
sort of.
All right, let's say goodbye.
You're
Let's
the
let
same
them go.
color.
What?
You're wearing the same color.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we are.
Zoe, you and the wooden toy.
I'm hitting end broadcast. I can't look at